The circa 1960 classroom desks were arranged in a conversational horseshoe in room 202 of the Language and Literature building at ASU. Dr. Sandoval is perched precipitously on the ledge of a dishwater brown desk in the front of the room, keenly attuned to the chatter of the 13 women comprising her feminism in the Americas class. It is 1997, my second semester of my master's degree, and I am the only gringa in the room with 12 incisive Latinas. Third world feminism was new to me, so I intentionally listened more than I talked those first 4 weeks of the semester. At that time, I was well into my 6th year of teaching high school English, and I fancied myself a multicultural educator. Yet the evocative, revolutionary, and heartbreaking words and thoughts of Cherry Morega, Gloria Andazula, Audre Lorde, Bell Hooks, and those of my classmates were rapidly raising my awareness of, well, how unaware I was. This particular evening, however, I was in my element because we were discussing the intersection of racism, sexism, and class and education. Professor Sandoval kickstarted the discussion with the question, what connections can we make to our experiences as students or teachers and border feminism, which was another way of saying third world feminism. I channeled Hermione Granger as I confidently stated, I present my students with multicultural literature, including historical Hispanic and Black authors, alongside contemporary literature as a way to recognize other voices and perspectives to represent our melting pot society, and that in the end, we all should be colorblind. Well, my pretentious little statement prompted politely interrupted eye rolls and gasps of disbelief. To my 12 classmates' credit and to Dr. Sandoval's, no one said aloud, "Are you serious?" I felt the vibe, though, as well as the hot lava that was erupting in my chest from embarrassment. Dr. Sandoval shifted my direction. Kim, I hear that you care deeply about your students and that you want to present them with those multicultural perspectives. However, I had to tell you, Chica, colorblindness just isn't enough. I didn't ask why, and instead I listened intently as my classmates and Dr. Sandoval unpacked for me colorblindness, the melting pot theory, and why Hispanic was not a preferred nomenclature for folks of Latin American descent. They respectfully and firmly helped me understand that claiming colorblindness is saying that I don't see the historical and contemporary impact of prejudice, discrimination, and systemic racism. A few weeks later brought another lesson. Room 111 had as many students occupying desks on a Sunday, Tuesday afternoon as it normally did during any given period during the regular school day. It was just the week before spring break and the end of the third quarter. And my students were there serving Learning Center detention because they were missing assignments critical to receiving a passing grade for that quarter. It was my way of getting them in to make up their assignments, to being held accountable, and frankly, to get extra help if they needed it, so that they were able to achieve the high expectations they had for all of them. I was reviewing a student's thesis statement when I received a phone call from the front office informing me that Monet Jackson's angry mother was on her way down to my classroom. Fairly warned, I stepped outside, closed the door because I didn't want to disrupt my students. And I recalled that I had met Miss Jackson right around the time of open house, but frankly, I hadn't had any contact with her since then. Monet had been assigned to Learning Center detention, actually a few of them because she was missing assignments. And I had warned Monet earlier, along with the other students who were missing assignments, that if they didn't serve their Learning Center detentions that afternoon, that I would be calling home that night. Thinking about all of this, I heard Miss Jackson's quick, forceful steps striking the sidewalk. "You're Miss St. Clair," she sputtered as I turned towards her. "Yes, I am Miss St. Clair." Mrs. Jackson, you and I met at open house. What can I do for you today? I respond, trying to keep my voice steady. You assigned my daughter a detention? She demanded. Yes, I began. You are a racist bitch, and there's no way that my daughter is going to serve your stupid detention. Oh, my lizard brain kicks in with a how dare you call me racist denial in my throat. And almost as quickly, colorblind isn't enough, Chica, overrides that reflex. I take a breath. Miss Jackson, I have no doubt that you and Monet have experienced racism in the school system. I take another breath. She sharply inhales and then exhales. May I explain to you why I believe that that isn't the case right now? Miss Jackson wearily agrees. Okay. First, I'm holding a learning center detention. If you would you please open the door and take a look at the students in my classroom? She opens the door, briefly looks around, and closes it again. And they're mostly white. Yeah. My policy is that students missing assignments are assigned to learning center detention. It's a chance for them to come in and make up their work and get extra help. And it's just my way of holding them accountable also for the learning. And Monet is missing assignments, and she was assigned a learning center detention to get in here to make up her work. And I'll be honest with you that I think it would be racist of me not to hold all my students to these high expectations and offer them this opportunity to get extra help or just a quiet place to make up their work. I pause, fearful I may have escalated the situation. To my surprise, Miss Jackson softens her brow, and for the first time, we make eye contact. You are the first teacher who has ever acknowledged that racism exists. Thank you. I assure you, Miss St. Clair, that Monet will make up her missing assignments, and if she doesn't, she will serve her detention and she will give you no trouble about it. Miss Jackson and Monet kept that promise for the rest of the school year. Over 2 decades later, I wince when folks use terms such as colorblind, melting pot, and Hispanic. And I try to model that same passionate, compassionate, and patience shown to me in that dingy ASU classroom so many years previous. For sure, there are times that I have gotten it right in those intervening years. However, there are times that I've done damage. And this Chica has to metaphorically learn again that colorblind just isn't enough.